Hello, and welcome to Follow the Lens, which is simply the idea of heading out the door with no destination in mind, and just picking a direction and heading off in search of some decent, or well, at least interesting photos. And of course, I'm always hoping for some good photographs. But of course, I don't always get them. Doesn't keep me from trying though. I'm always looking for a little adventure as well, and for today, it seems like it's going to be cows. Cows on the road adventure might seem a little on the mellow side, but I think it has its moments. The day started off overcast with a bit of a drizzle as I initially headed northwest. Following the lens and exploring some of my local trails and back roads. Enjoying the peace and quiet of a cool summer morning. Until I eventually found myself traveling down the power lines. Hoping for maybe a little wildlife to kickstart my morning, but it was extra quiet today. So, I slowly meandered my way into a nearby valley. And as I looked for stuff to photograph, before long I found myself surrounded by the farms and ranches that you find all over the Cariboo. Very pretty. I spotted this horse hanging out by the fence, and it gave me my first real subject of the day. And from here, horses end up becoming a welcome part of my morning. As a variety of them came to the fence to meet me and have a portrait or two taken. That, or maybe they were just curious about why I was up so insanely early. In fact, these two just went back to bed after they saw me. And this entertaining fellow just stared at me for a bit. Before it went back to eating alongside the deer in the background. And a few other critters poked their heads through the fence just to see what I was doing. Make sure I wasn't up to no good. The mists were fairly heavy this morning, and it made for an eerie feeling as I drove along. Still, it's absolutely beautiful. Well, now wildlife is definitely my favorite subject to photograph, but the Cariboo is full of so many subjects, and today seems to be turning into more of a farm animal day than a wildlife one. Of course, that doesn't stop me from finding some deer to photograph. They're everywhere up here. Unfortunately, the second deer I see has a dark face and a deer wart on its back. It's of no danger to humans, but it is a sign that the deer is stressed or injured or somewhat unwell. Always a sad thing to see, but most deer recover and lose the wart and end up being just fine. And the rest of the deer I spotted today seem to be quite happy and healthy. Quite a few of them do. If you notice, this one has a bit of a scar on his butt, but it was probably put there by another deer. They do tend to kick each other. Though the mist and the low light did keep me from getting sharp photos. Never hurts to practice. Sometimes it seems like there's almost as many deer as there are cows in the Cariboo. And, of course, plenty of the wild birds hang around the edges of the farmers' fields. I saw this good-sized group of starlings mixed with a few yellow-headed blackbirds that had taken over someone's yard. Stopped for a few photos, of course. I couldn't tell what they were eating, but, made for a few decent photographs. I am trying to slowly document all the wildlife in the Cariboo, so. And I spotted this chipping sparrow, which is a bird I don't see all that often, though I'm not sure why. We have quite a few of them up here. We do have 15 different sparrows that can be spotted in the Cariboo, though, so. Like the Savannah sparrow I spotted a little later. And, of course, I managed to get a few more bird species as the morning progressed. And a couple of nice silhouette shots rounded everything off. And of course, throughout the morning, I stopped here and there to get some landscape shots. I mean, with the mist, and as the sun slowly raised over the mountains, bit of drizzle or not, it was an absolutely beautiful morning. It's one of my favorite reasons for getting up so early. It really is. Man, I love the Cariboo. And with the sun over the horizon, I left the paved roads and headed back into the mountains. And honestly, sometimes the mists make you feel like you're driving through the clouds. It's pretty cool. Looking for a place to walk my dogs, which I did find. And not photography related, really, but. And a few trails, hoping to see a moose or a bear. And not only did I have no luck with finding a moose or a bear, the trail just kind of disappeared on me altogether. So I just kind of picked a route through the trees. And it took a little while, but I eventually found my way back to an old logging road. It was a little rough, but, Eleanor had no problem with it, and it led back to the main route. And even this is gorgeous, with the sun cutting through the trees and the reflection of the sky on the hood of Eleanor. And it's rained a lot lately, so. For any off-pavement travel, mud and puddles on the trails has just become part of my day. Including getting very stuck earlier this week, but that's a story for the next video. And, for most of the mud I come across, Eleanor, my Jeep, she has no problem with it. And of course, playing in the puddles can always be fun. Spent the next little while exploring some of the old trails and logging roads that crisscross the top of the mountain. Slowly working myself first across and then down the other side. As I mentioned, I was hoping to see a moose or a bear. I've seen both in this general area on multiple occasions, but sometimes the mountains are just quiet. Sometimes the best thing about doing this is just time with my own thoughts. And besides, following the lens isn't supposed to be about finding anything specific, just whatever I discover as I explore. And as much as I like to get off the beaten path, if you're going to explore in the Cariboo, you're eventually going to find yourself near a ranch or two, or more for that matter. I mean, the Cariboo is ranch country after all. And what comes with ranches? Well, cows, of course. Lots of cows. Cows on the trail. Cows in the forest. And per the title, cows on the backroads. And I actually certainly don't mind. Not even a little bit. Unlike deer, cows don't jump out from behind a tree. I definitely consider deer a backroad hazard, although, knock on wood, I've never hit one. But cows? Cows are just there. I mean, if you hit a cow, you're going too fast. Cows at the most are a time hazard. They may just stand there and stare at you for a while. They may just walk away from you, but of course, it'll be right down the middle of the road or the trail, and you won't be able to get around them. But as long as you're patient, they'll get out of the way. Eventually. A little coaxing might be necessary, though. And the second reason I don't mind if they use up a bit of my time is I think cows are rather photogenic. At least I like taking photos of them. That's why I'm out here on the back roads and trails in the first place, is to find things to take photographs of. And free roaming cows definitely work for me. Besides, cows stand and pose for a lot longer than wildlife does. I'll end this with a short story. A couple of years back, I was poking around the Beaver Valley, another one of my favorite places, and I came across a rather large herd of cows in the road. 3 or 4 dozen, I'd say. Quite a few. Unfortunately, this was before my GoPro, so I don't have any footage, but right in the middle of this herd and completely surrounded was the roof of a compact car just showing above the backs of the cows. And clearly not moving. I had a sneaking suspicion it was probably not a local and that they might just be stuck. So, at a snail's pace, I slowly drove toward them and the cows slowly got out of the way. I mean, I'd of course never bump into a cow, and a couple of them took their time moving, that's for sure, but cows are herd animals, and once a few of them headed off the road, the rest of the herd followed, freeing up this cow-stuck car to just drive on out. I have no idea how long they'd been stuck there, but they certainly had a look of relief on their faces as I drove past them and gave them a friendly wave. So if you're heading into a ranch or farm country to hit some of the back roads, give yourself a little extra time just in case you run into a cow blockade. This was just a little one after all. Well, that's about it for today's adventure. I mean, a few cows, a few trails, a little mud, and as always in the Cariboo, an absolutely beautiful morning. As an added bonus, as I worked my way home, this rather large young buck that's been hanging out in our neighborhood was chilling out and having breakfast, and they let me get a few good photos in. So, until next time, I'll leave you with my latest song and some footage from an adventure earlier this month. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. It really does help the channel out. And of course, follow the lens. I mean, there's tons of stuff out there just waiting for you to photograph it.